fans of wrestling, and we are the degenerates that want to talk about it. Welcome to the third episode of Kicking Out 2. I'm Michael. With me, as always, is Tori. I always get that wrong. It's the other side. Today, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, and we're going to talk a little bit about WWE NXT that just finished a few minutes ago. So, first of all, how you doing?
I'm all right. Yeah. Big win for the U.S. soccer team today.
Woo! USA.
That's a very good job. Good for y'all. You know where you're from.
I really like soccer. What's that statement? That it's the most grueling physical activity next to genocide?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
No, I actually, work was really slow today. They let me leave early, so I got to actually watch the game. It was pretty nice.
Nice.
So.
All right. Well, last night was a good episode.
It was solid. Had a little lull in the middle. I dozed off. But...
Yeah. But overall good stuff. Nothing really groundbreaking as far as building any more stories, but good action, and it definitely planted some seeds of what we're looking at. I think we can definitely see where some things are going. So for those that are listening, what we're going to do on show matches episodes like this is we'll pick out a couple of things that we really liked. That'll be the bulk of our conversation, and then we'll just kind of fly through the results of the rest of stuff. Maybe sprinkle a little flavor in there for little bits of stuff. So this opened up with a recap of War Games, and I think we've said more than enough about War Games, but a really good show. That show open really kind of harkened me back to like the old days where they would put the package together and really kind of show you the highlights of everything. So I'm glad we're doing that again.
We had talked about them moving them to Saturdays. I kind of like it because they give you 48 hours before Raw starts.
Mm-hmm.
So you have time to, because they used to always do those packages, but they would cut off the very end of the match, like how it ended, and then show you who won. And I'm like, what's the point?
I just watched this.
Just like, why did you show me up to this point, but then show me who won?
Yep.
Like that. Why?
I think this episode was really sandwiched well. The first big thing that you wanted to talk about specifically was kind of this opening segment, but just kind of highlighted a little bit of what happened. So we got Becky Lynch coming out, making her entrance, starting off in the ring, but flat out saying, "I'm a man of the people, and the man of the people should be with the people," and immediately goes out to the crowd, mentions good shirts, which nice little drops. So the first one was like a Becky shirt. The second one was a Seth shirt. So just pointing out people's shirts as she went up, high-fiving people as she went. Had a fun little interaction with Bob, which I actually replied to his tweet today because it was really fun.
Nice.
And then she tried to talk to a guy named Zachary, who was obviously blitzed.
I'm like, this show just started, my dude, and you're already drunk?
Yep. And then, love Becky, she was really smart. She started slowly walking back over to Bob.
Right. She was like, no, we're not doing this.
I mean, for any ladies out there, if you're wanting to talk and chat it up with a dude, I'm telling you right now, Bob is the right archetype. I kind of fit in that too. You know, big dude, beard, nerd. We're always going to be a safe bet. Just don't worry about it. We're not going to be luckily Zachary didn't do anything inappropriate. However, you could look at his eyes and go,
I was so worried about that. I was like, he's going to say something or do something, or I was a little concerned. So
I just wanted to get us there. Go ahead and take it away with like what you thought, what you saw, what you liked.
So we have this interaction with the crowd. Part of what I loved about this was that those interactions. I thought it was great that first show back, first Raw back, she's in the crowd. She's like, "Hey, I'm back. I'm a man of the people," which I love the man moniker for her.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like Big Time Dex. I thought it was stupid. Michael Cole, I will give him all the credit in the world. He sold the shit out of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
He does that, but it was bad.
It was. She had to do something though. She couldn't be the man.
Yes.
Like she wanted to save the man to be the good guy, and
right.
now that she's the heel, she got to do something.
Right. So of course Bailey comes out bumping her gums, looking fantastic in that outfit though.
Absolutely.
Um, and it led where we expected. You know,
Did,
that you knew they were gonna brawl.
did you
Io
catch
and
Becky's
Io
theme
and
music
Dakota
for her?
come down the stairs. Do what?
Did you hear Becky's theme music for her? And here she comes to wreck my day as she's
Oh,
walking down.
that's nice. She do
That's
an
awesome.
underdog throwback. I like it. I'm
It
here
was
for it.
wonderful.
But and then Dakota and Io come down. Io is in a neck brace. Why are we doing this? Like, you have a neck brace on, ma'am. You should not be fighting on the stairs in an arena.
Yeah.
That was the only complaint I had about it. And Dakota's outfit, because it's the same one she had on Saturday, and it just looks stupid. But so they start this fight on the stairs, and they move up into the merch section.
Yep.
First of all, you have just completely ruined Damage Control's image because Becky by herself
laid them out.
And I'm just like, you have just undone everything you've done with them since SummerSlam in one promo.
Yeah, I agree. I do think like a couple of people
should have taken the beating.
No,
I'm not saying Becky should have taken that beating. Somebody else should have gotten it.
Yeah, I think once they got to the merch table, have her get beat down a little bit, bring in a tag team of whoever you're going to have go with Io and Dakota at that time.
Yes.
Whoever's going to be part of that, and then move on.
Right. So, I mean, I get it. But at the same time, you've just ruined all credibility that Damage Control had because they just got beat up by Becky.
Yeah.
Her first fight back, she's Superman. Like, what are we doing?
Well, I mean, she was Superman when she left, so I guess we're just starting where we left off here.
I hated the heel gimmick, but I have a deep love for Becky. I've always liked Becky. I've liked her since her NXT days, and that first thing where she's dancing that they did, oh my god, it's still funny.
Iris jigging, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is a really fun start. I do agree with you. The idea that she could take out the three girls at the same time when the whole deal is Damage Control supposed to be taking over, and how are we gonna say that they're gonna do that now when one girl beat all three of them?
They could break this up and I'd be fine with it because the three of them have about as much chemistry as me and this trash can. So
yeah, it's an odd pairing. Like
it's not there. I love the idea of it, but it's just not there with those three.
With two of them in it, like I like Sky and Sky and Kai. Yeah,
right.
I keep wanting to say Kai and Tai, and then we're back to choppy pee pee. It all goes full circle then.
This is the third. This is the third one, and it's been in every one of them. We have to stop this now.
Ban on choppy. So those two are good together. With me, it's Bailey. I love Bailey, but I can't think of a time that she's teamed with someone that I actually liked it, except for Sasha. But her and Sasha are legit best friends behind the scenes,
right?
So they have that chemistry.
To me, honestly, the odd one out here is Io.
See,
I think Dakota and Bailey would work. I think Io is the odd one out. I just the first couple promos they did with them, I was like, this is terrible. This is absolutely terrible, bro. Why are we doing this?
Well, so actually, I'll disagree with that. The first couple of times that they interviewed together, I really liked it. And it was just because I like the idea that, like, Bailey says her thing, Kai says her thing, and then Sky jumps in and speaks. I think natively she's speaking Mandarin, if I remember correctly. And so I didn't want to get that wrong.
No, it's Japanese.
Canceled on the third show.
Both speak Japanese, and that's what it is.
Yeah. But so her doing that and them acting like they understood what the heck she said, like that was fun. But then she's trying to throw in English with it too, and to me that like ruined the fun part of that. The whole fun part of that was she'd say something that would take 30 seconds to say, and they're like, yeah, she said we're gonna beat him up too.
Right.
Okay.
Like I said, Bailey is better as a one-person show.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would love to see them try to face turn Bailey.
So
I
I
don't
could
know
see
how
that.
that would go.
I've got a little speculation, which we'll get into that later in the episode because there's a thing that kind of covers what I'm thinking. But I think someone else is going to be part of the group, and maybe that'll start the dissension and maybe push
Ooh.
Bailey out of it. I think Candace is going to be part of it, but
Really?
yeah. But like I said,
See, I don't.
we'll get to that.
Right. Well, and that was something else. There was a couple of things from the other women's portions of the shows that I wanted to touch on.
Yeah. So after that, we had Mia Yim versus Rhea Ripley, kinda. So they get out there. They have a decent start to a match. And then immediately, because of Dom just kind of standing in the ring for some reason, it ends up being disqualification. I don't know, because he just kind of fell on them. I don't know why that's a disqualification, but okay. AJ comes in, attacks him, becomes a no contest, and then we get Judgment Day versus the OC. AJ,
he solved nothing.
well, and this was a weird thing to me because AJ's promo beforehand was basically saying like, "We're closing this chapter. This is it. This is all we're gonna do." And then after
he takes the pin.
Yeah, he takes the pin, which is fine with me. I mean, it's basically 50-50 booking. And so, okay, both of them look the same at the end of it. However, then Corey Graves says, "This is the end of that chapter, or is it?" And it's like, well, no, are we going to keep going with this now? Like, the whole point was AJ was like, "We're done. No matter what happens, we're done."
We went through this whole thing, and then we brought in Mia Yim for this,
Mhm.
and then she's the one to take the pinfall.
Yeah.
Like, did you just bring her in to take that L?
I hope not. I mean, I do hope, like, I hope the OC thing is done. But I do hope her and Rhea still have a little bit because I want to see more of that.
I think Rhea's next step is Bianca.
Yeah, maybe.
Can you? I mean, think about the match. First of all, the matches will be amazing,
Mhm.
and the promos will be great too because they can both talk.
Yeah, I'm surprised after the reaction at War Games that we're not going to get her and Becky.
It's not happening. They're going to leave it alone for a while.
The fans
I
really
think
like
Charlotte's
that.
her next. I think I read something today that they're saying Charlotte's the favorite to win the Rumble, which made me throw up in my mouth a little bit. I'm so.
Even if she does, I need her to go to SmackDown. I don't want her on Raw.
No, they're talking her and Bianca because she's the one. She's the only one Bianca hasn't beaten.
I mean, that makes sense, but
no, it doesn't.
It makes sense for Bianca. Is my point.
It does.
Like,
it makes no sense for Charlotte.
For that though, I don't think she'd even need to win. Like, she wouldn't need to win the Rumble in order to get that spot. Have Bianca just flat out say it. You're the last one. You're on my hit list. Let's do this.
No, I think they're going to make Bianca Charlotte the main event of night one of Mania.
Yeah.
I just don't like it. I saw tonight, Elimination Chamber is 2 weeks after the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to build in 2 weeks?
I don't know. It's. I think there was a media thing after the pay-per-view, and Tripp was asked about like the Elimination Chamber, Hell in a Cell, and all that stuff. And he was kind of very vague at what he was thinking about, but it really sounds like he's going to be reorganizing a lot of stuff. And so I'm hoping this kind of fell out right now of this has already been booked, so like we kind of got to do this. But
to me, Chamber's one of those that should be between either Mania SummerSlam or SummerSlam Survivor Series.
Mm-hmm.
Because between Survivor Series and Mania, you don't have a ton of time.
You don't. No.
You've got what, 4 months total?
Yeah. Well, and then in the Vince era, and maybe we'll still do it. I don't know. You always had that WrestleMania Revenge pay-per-view shoved in the middle, where it was just a repeat of WrestleMania. Hopefully that doesn't happen again.
After Mania, and it was garbage.
Yeah.
Bring back Unforgiven or something. Like, let's make this stuff matter again.
Well, and to me, it's don't give me a rerun, because that's literally what it was. Is they're rebooking the WrestleMania matches so the losers could get their revenge, and that's I don't care. WrestleMania's over. New season. Let's move on.
But even then, they still didn't even win those all the time.
No, No. They didn't get their revenge, so it wasn't really worth it.
Let's move on from that, because I could do this. That's a whole show by itself.
That certainly is. Just one little fun spot in the match is so everybody's kind of back and forth, knocking each other out. Finn is the last man standing, and I say that specifically just because he's standing and he's screaming at the top of his lungs, and then turns around to Mia Yim, who gives him a very pretty body slam.
Yes.
Which he sells like a champ. I love it.
Yes.
Winner, though, Judgment Day. That body slam then leads into Rhea grabbing a hold of her. Riptide, we're done. And then she does one of her lovely pins. Which, if I can say anything good about that match, there it is. It was
she knows what she's doing.
Absolutely. Like to shout out the Twitter a little bit. I saw that you posted the Rhea little thing walking out. Nobody's ready for mommy. You're damn right.
I need that as a TikTok sound because I've never made a TikTok, but I might actually make one to that.
Oh, I'll shoot it to you. A little backstage segment between Street Profits and Alpha Academy. It's literally just the Street Profits saying that they're glad to be back. We want to smoke the whole thing. Gable comes out and says, look, like while you were gone, I was the one running the show. I'm the one doing this. And they just kind of bicker. It is what it is. I love
the Street Profits. The Street Profits are up and we want the smoke is probably one of my favorite catchphrases right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about Alpha Academy. They've done nothing to make me care about them.
I love them for what they are, which is just a comedy tag team. And until they can make me forget that Otis walks around going, oh yeah, and looking at Mandy, I don't care. He's not going to be serious to me. So
I wasn't ready for that.
I'm sorry. But like until then, I don't care of them as a serious threat. So you put them up against Street Profits. I know what's going to happen at the end of this. Street Profits going to win that.
I fell asleep.
Well, actually, we'll get there. Okay. So then after that was the in-ring Bloodline segment, which was absolutely phenomenal. Major highlight before they get interrupted is they're all standing there. Sammy has this little heartfelt to Jay, hey, you forgave me, you've let me into the family, and I think we can let bygones be bygones, and from now on, whatever issue we have in the bloodline, we're on the same page. And he goes to shake his hand, and Jay's got the look on his face like he had before the pay-per-view, and then slaps his hand away, hugs him. They call Jimmy over for the big hug, and then I don't think this was planned just because of the look on Jimmy's face, and as we could tell from him cracking all the time, he's not that great of a person to hide what he's actually feeling. I think he legit was like, let's get him. Like, let's make him crack. And so they're all like, come on. Well, then Kevin comes out. A nice little promo between the two of them. I think it's a perfect setup. Sure. I think it's a perfect setup for what's going to happen in the future of him and Zayn getting back together. But just a moment of him saying, look, I'm tired of being with you. I'm tired of being against you. I think at this point, like, I'm done with you. We're done. Which Sammy acting perfect because he's got that mix of broken heart and then immediately coming back. Well, that's fine because I'm done with you two. I've got a real family now. I'm with them now. We're done. We're not going to do this anymore. Then Jay pops up. He said, don't worry, I got this, which ends up leading to a match between the two, which I'm really surprised with because Jay still looks like he legit broke his hands. So
they were all banged up. He had a huge bruise on his hip.
I mean, I would have thought that like Jimmy would have picked it up or Solo would have picked it up because like Jimmy looks hurt. It's a smart choice story-wise.
Right, and it's made it in Jey Uso. That dude, he's carried it. Look, if Roman wasn't there right now, that's Jay's group.
Absolutely.
He has done such a good job with Jimmy being out for the multiple reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Just the character, I've been so impressed with Jay the past like year and a half.
Yeah. He's been doing just fine work. I definitely think that if for some reason Jimmy didn't want to do it or couldn't do it anymore, Jay would be just fine on his own. I can't say the other way around, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
But definitely Jay could handle it. Sorry, daddy duties. And now we're back. So yeah, I do think he could be good on his own. So if it comes down to it, main event Jey Uso. I always thought at the end of the day, when all this started with the Bloodline, that he was going to be the one to bring it down. I thought that was what it was going to be, and
I read something saying it may be Solo. Like you said, like we talked about the other day, I think Solo. I don't know that I think it. It's something I had read and I thought it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Just because he's never does the one when they're talking about the family, when they throw it up, he doesn't do it. I don't know. I feel like he hasn't been happy with everything. I think he's going to be the one that's going to have a problem with Sammy.
Well, and then, we could talk about the past with the Usos and how Jimmy and Jay got into the Bloodline, but end of the day, they chose to be there. Solo's the only one that didn't choose to. He was told by the higher ups, "You're going to be in this group."
He's also the only one without a title.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't count Sammy because he's there, but
he's the Bloodline, but he's not family.
Right. So I don't know. I still think it's going to be Sammy and KO. I think they're going to be ones. Something will happen. And I kind of thought about this. I think it'll be one of those that KO will say, "I have a partner," and they don't come out with him. And then he's getting a beat down, and Sammy feels bad and jumps up there and turns into his partner, and they beat the Usos for the titles.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I definitely think that's still going to happen. I mean, I think it brings up perfectly just because of what happened in this little interview segment. Them both saying we're done with each other, that totally means they're not done with each other.
They're not done.
Something's going to happen.
I don't know how to quit you. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
I can't quit you.
I can't.
So I want to cover the next part because it was the Candice LeRae thing.
Yeah. So there was a little backstage segment with her. She's kind of walking through, and she runs into an interview. Says that she's not been on Raw very long. Says that she keeps getting attacked by Damage Control, and they injured her, and she doesn't know why. And so she has this kind of heart-to-heart moment just straight into the camera of, "I'm going to reintroduce who I am, and I'm going to take Dakota Kai out." Go ahead and talk about what you want to talk about. Go ahead.
When the very segment first started and she's walking down the hall, did you see who was behind her?
Oh, yeah. Meme-worthy Nikki. Just kind of hanging out.
Yes. Okay. This is why I don't think it's Candice. I think they're going to break up Damage Control.
Okay.
Which I'm fine with. Like I said, whatever. Because the second Sasha and Naomi come back, those titles are theirs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no and I like Dakota and I like Io Shirai. I like them both.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're ready for the big stage.
I don't entirely disagree with that. It's kind of like what we talked about. Who were we talking about that I was saying was very green the other day?
It's Dominic, too.
Well, I mean, Dominic for sure. I want to say it was one of the girls, though. Like I was saying, it was Shotzi. So Shotzi, she still looks green on the main roster.
Girls they have in NXT right now, those three going back, even if you put those three together, put those three against Toxic Attraction.
Yeah.
That's a banger of a match.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's my whole... I think we're going to get a Nikki Cross, Candice LeRae feud, and I'm good with it because Candice can get in there and go.
Yeah, absolutely. And if she's looking to get more, like just from that promo, it looks like she's trying to get more serious, less of the pixie princess and more of kind of like what she was on the indies when she was facing dudes. Like get more hardcore, Nikki's the perfect one to do it with. I will say, so the only reason I was kind of thinking she was in that group is every time they beat her down, we've never seen it. Both times we're off camera. And so I'm like, like the first time, that's one thing. The second time, last week.
You're right. I know they showed the video of it.
Yeah, they knocked the camera over. And it's like, okay. That's interesting. So that's my only thought of reason why. It could be just a red herring. I mean, that's a good thing about what I'm going to call Dusty booking, because it's very much what Tripp is doing is very much Dusty booking.
Yeah. No, he's got Dusty's playbook, and he's following that bitch to a T.
It very well could be just like we're gonna make you think this, and then it's not going to happen, and that's fine. If that doesn't happen, I'm fine with it.
Right.
But that's what I was thinking. Maybe she joins in 4-woman group. You have the 3. I don't want to say indie darlings because I think that's an overused term, but very much like the non-mainstream 3,
right?
That want to kick the mainstream out.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to fight like we fought. You were here the entire time while we're out there making a name for ourselves.
I see. That's just it. I think they could do. Honestly, I don't think Io's going to matter one way or the other. She's not going to do anything on her own on the main roster. No one cares. She's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
She gets no crowd reaction. Nothing. Even that moonsault didn't get a lot.
Yeah. She almost got more of a pop for standing up there than the moonsault happening.
Yeah.
Like, once it happened, everybody kind of died off. But
yep.
Then we have we have a string of backstage things that happen here. Then we have a backstage segment with Riddle and Elias. You got Riddle doing his best Foley impression, not Mick, but the other one, or Farley, excuse me, not Foley. Hey, you remember that thing we did last week? That was cool, wasn't it? What? Thank God.
Oh my God, the Chris Farley show. That shit was so good.
Thank God the Bloodline came in and saved it, which was basically like, y'all ain't gonna win any titles because we're the ones and you're the twos. And then I guess they're gonna fight next week, which they're gonna win that handedly.
Are we this set that Matt Riddle can't do a damn thing on his own, that we're just gonna keep putting him into stupid tag teams?
I mean, unless they're just holding him over until Randy gets back.
They're saying Randy may not even come back.
I know, and that's the thing. Like, you definitely should have spawned him off by now, because it's literally like he's leeching to every person as you go along.
And look, we all know that WWE stands for Walk with Elias.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need Riddle along the road too, okay? He can drift his ass on somewhere else.
For those listening, it warms my heart to hear Tori say that, because she used to hate Elias.
Elias was the epitome of fuck that guy, okay?
Yep.
I hated that gimmick. I hated that dude. And I don't know why, but I eventually just went, this is great shit.
He's a fungus. He just grows on you.
Yes. Yes.
But
it just doesn't go away either.
So then we get the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. Street Profits defeated Alpha Academy with Montez doing his amazing frog splash. Ball game. Yeah, not like we didn't think that was going to happen. Then there's an in-ring segment after we come back with Austin Theory. He bumps his gums about he's the greatest ever, and then Seth comes out and calls him...
First of all, Seth in that outfit with that sheer shirt looked fly as hell.
It did, but I think he stole that from Sable, didn't he?
Possibly.
Because that looks exactly like some crap she wore back in the 90s.
That is entirely possible.
So Theory asks him, like, what happens when the future makes you look like the past? Basically, almost hyping them up, saying, like, you were the future at one point, you were what WWE was going to be, and now that's me.
Calling him kid.
Yeah,
so perfect.
I do like that little twist on it. Like, I really don't think I'd care about this if it wasn't for that little snide mark, because that seemed to really get to Theory.
It reminds me of Men in Black when Will Smith joins. He said, "We ain't gonna go with this kid sport junior." He said, "Whatever you say, Slick." You know, that's what I felt like this segment did. And I didn't care. I don't care about Austin Theory, but I'm curious where this goes with the kid.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Well, and even just his response, like he says this thing into the mic, and then he drops the mic, gets right by Seth's ear, and I'm not your damn kid. Like, just and Seth, perfect. Of course,
being Seth, was like, okay, kid.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what I'm saying. This segment, I don't care about Theory, but Seth will make it interesting.
Yeah, Seth will make it really good.
Seth is one of those guys, you can put him with anybody. He's going to make the program good.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to make them look great and make himself even bigger.
Well, and at the end of the day, between the two of them and Seth carrying the heavier load, they're still going to make the U.S. title the title on Raw.
Oh, yeah. Because we're going to make it important.
We got to get to WrestleMania to get the titles off of Roman.
Before a title.
Yeah. And until then, this has got to be it. And they're going to make it.
I'm kind of wondering if we're not going to get Roman pulling double duty.
I'm thinking we'll have to. Because it's the only way.
Split these titles.
Yeah.
Got to split these titles.
Because, I mean, if you go with the rumors that Rock's going to come in and go after him, Rock's not going to win the title because Rock's not going to be around. So he's going to lose that match. I think I don't know, maybe the pressure of leading into a match with Rock on night 2 makes him crumble on night 1, or vice versa.
I have a theory for that. We'll come back to it, though, because now that we've just said that,
mm-hmm.
I have a theory of how they're going to do this.
All right. Then we have the backstage segment with The Miz. I'm ready for the story to be over. I'm glad. I think we're at the end point. I hope we're at the end point. Not that all these guys aren't entertaining, but it's just, it feels like this has been dragging on forever. This should have ended like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I don't know if we were just waiting to get War Games out of the way before we got the payoff for it. Yeah. But I mean, this ending could have happened 4 weeks ago, and I would have been fine with it. It's been going on a little too long.
It's setting up Johnny and Miz, and I'm good with that because those matches will be amazing because Johnny can work with. He's Johnny Wrestling for a reason.
Well, it either brings up Johnny Miz or it brings up we're going to bring Indy up, and then we get.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are either. Just because of tonight.
Right.
I had the thought before tonight, and then watching tonight.
No, I agree. Yeah. They need to bring Indy up because she's going to make Dexter interesting.
Yeah. I wonder if she wins that match next week, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So we have anything goes match, Dexter Lumis and Miz, because Miz gets strong arm to go on out there because he's like, look, I injured my hand, and Pierce is like, that's the wrong hand.
Which was. It's so stupid, but I love shit like that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try and weasel my way out of it. That's the wrong hand. No, it's not. It's so dumb, but it warms my. It reminds me of stupid stuff from the 80s and 90s,
mm-hmm.
and I just love. I'm here for it.
It's like that dude in the court case here recently, but how they know? Which hand? It's the wrong hand, but how they know?
Right.
Let's just say.
Yeah.
But
the match was what you expect. It was a train wreck. Dexter is good in the ring.
Absolutely, and
I like the guy. I need them to do more. He needs a mouthpiece.
He does. And maybe he's going to keep him with Johnny, and that's going to be his mouthpiece.
I don't think so.
Really?
I think they're going to make it look like he's with Johnny, and he's going to end up back with The Miz.
Okay. I can see that.
They're going to bring Ciampa back and put DIY back together.
That'd be good.
That'd be great. A DIY run on the main roster.
Well, and it would be a good surprise because you would think when he comes back that he's going to get back with the Miz. And so,
but think about it. He comes back.
Yeah.
Miz and Dexter are putting a beat down on Johnny. There's no chance Tommaso's not going to do something about that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I'll tell you what, DIY the Usos, give me that all day. Absolutely. That's right up there with the Usos and the New Day.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay, so Dexter wins this. He has his contract. He gets his money.
Yeah. To me, the best part of this match was Corey Graves just freaked out about everything going on. Who gets out of the ring like that? That's like a gorilla crawl. Like, good Lord.
I love Corey Graves. Look, I understand they were talking about clearing him. Please don't take him off the desk.
No.
Please don't take him off the desk.
No. And he's even said on his own podcast, like, even if he got cleared, he doesn't know if we go back, because he was like, I was a mediocre wrestler at best.
He's an amazing announcer.
And he's amazing on the desk. So I'd say stay with what you're good at. I mean, not saying you couldn't pull like a Booker or, when Michael Cole was a heel and just like throw yourself in the Rumble one time or one quick program. Okay.
He had the 24/7 championship.
He did.
So Byron rolled him up, which he lost to Byron Saxton. That alone should get him in trouble.
That should retire him right there. That's
right. He should be like, I'm never wrestling again. I lost to Byron Saxton.
It's a career ender. So Loomis gets out of the ring. There was a big bag of money involved. I don't understand the big bag of money, but he's handing money.
The big bag of money was Miz was going to pay him off so they wouldn't have the match.
Oh, okay. See, I missed that part. I'm just like, he's just got a big bag of money.
Like, I have the money. I'm just going to pay him. We don't have to have this match. That was part of the backstage with Adam Pearce.
Gotcha. Okay.
And Pearce is like, I don't care. You're still having this match.
Yep. He's handing money out to kids kind of as he goes up the ramp. A bunch of greasy, grubby hands of adults also trying to grab money, which they got a real close shot of one of the bills, and that looked like legit money.
No, I think they were legit hundreds. I think they were legit hundreds.
Miz attacks Loomis, grabs the one from the kid, and then he just...
oh my God. There's very few things you can do to make you a great heel. Mm-hmm. Taking money that was handed to a kid is one of them.
Yep.
That's right up there with the DiBiase thing.
Yep.
Sticking money in people's mouth, okay? Look.
Which, just speaking of that, so he turns around, walks into a super kick from Johnny. Johnny takes the bag of money, takes the 100 out of his hand. I was kind of hoping he would pull a DiBiase and shove the 100 in his mouth, but giving it to the kid was the better. Yeah, gives it back to the kid, which was great. I was just kind of hoping of like shoving in there.
He doesn't get a handshake from Loomis. He gets a.
Yep.
What are you, Orange Cassidy?
Well, that's always been his thing. Is
has it?
Yeah. Instead of talking, he just thumbs up like, all right, we're good. I do like that there was a backstage segment later. I think it was one of the YouTube only interviews. Did a little interview with those two, and they're trying to interview. They're trying to interview Loomis, and of course that's not working out well. So Johnny takes it over.
Okay, that's fair.
And he really hypes it up. He was like, come on, Loomis, there's got to be something that's been digging in your soul, really want to get out, something you got to do, something you got to say it. And then it pans in really close to Loomis. He just looks and looks up. Doesn't even do the thumbs up. Johnny goes, I think that's the best you're going to get. And then done.
That's fair.
Backstage segment with Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and Bianca Belair.
We skipped Candice Dakota, which was a great match.
Yeah.
Great match. But what was the point?
Yeah, I think it was just she wanted to get some revenge on what happened. It doesn't hurt Dakota because she was
in War Games. Doesn't hurt her at all.
Yeah, she was in War Games. Well, and then she got the beat down at the beginning of the show, so doesn't really hurt her. So I'm good with it. She got her heat back.
Right.
There's going to be some story with this, whether she becomes part of it or is the fight against it. There's going to be something there. This was just the start of that. So then we have the backstage segment.
I loved this backstage segment.
It was good. I mean, as far as just the interview, it was the basic, like, we're the faces type of interview.
That wasn't the part that mattered.
Yeah, the part that mattered was at the end. They get all their...
The part that mattered was at the very beginning.
Okay.
As soon as the camera went over and showed the three of them, the monitor behind started doing the Bray Wyatt thing.
Right.
And she just, her expression changed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah. I say the end just because, like, when she snapped out of it, like, that's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, sure.
I am looking forward to this Alexa, whatever they're doing with Alexa Bray.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Well, and you really could go one of two ways, and either way I'm fine with. Either she ends up back with him, or he wants revenge on her for killing the Fiend. Either way, I don't care.
See, I think it'd be one of those, I don't think it'd be revenge. Even if it's a blow-off part to the story for her, it's a thank you for that.
Yes.
Because I couldn't get away from it on my own, but what you did and that loss made me start to really look at my, whole thing he's been saying.
Yeah.
Which I love the character, what they're doing with it. I love this. I'm not sure where I'm at on the Uncle Howdy thing, because it's obviously him. Do you not think it is?
I do, but I don't.
Okay.
Like, there are times that he's doing his little shtick, and it sounds just like Bray. And then there's times that it sounds like someone doing a Bray impression. And there's only one person I could think that could do that good of impression, and that's his brother.
Bo?
And if Bo came back and was Uncle Howdy...
If Bo comes back and it's not Bo leave, I don't want it. I don't want it. That shit was so stupid and so great.
Yeah.
Especially if we get him walking up to Dexter Lumis and saying "Bo leave" with a thumb up. I'm here for it. I'm here for it all day.
And then gets choked out.
By Sonic.
Yep. By God. We got finally get to the main event: Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens.
Great match.
It was a great match. I mean, you got these two guys beating the hell out of each other.
They did too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think KO got his bell rung.
Possibly, he probably got some payback. Did you hear like
the whole thing with him and Roman?
Yeah, it might be a little receipt, but
right, he got a little receipt from Jay.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. They said Roman was pretty upset, but from what I understand, from what I read, Roman and KO have a really good relationship.
Yeah, well, it's one of those. I think someone says something that is really in the moment, and I think someone blows that out of proportion. Because if I walk through and you just busted my eardrum on a spot that we didn't call, yeah, I'm pissed.
Right.
Am I mad at you? Not really. Like, I'm just pissed it happened. Like, it's not ballet, it's wrestling.
And there's no chance with Kevin and what he's done in the ring with everybody, there's no chance that he went in there to try to hurt someone.
Yeah.
That's not who he is.
No. Not at all.
So obviously, I guarantee that if that's what happened, they said Roman came back pretty upset. I guarantee there was a conversation, and Kevin was like, "Dude, I am so sorry. Like, I didn't."
Yeah. I mean,
there's just nothing I've ever read about him strikes me as the kind to say a receipt's one thing.
Yeah.
But to try to hurt somebody on a spot that wasn't called, no.
Yeah. I'm
not buying that.
No. But so it really hard fought match. These two guys really did good. We ended it in a really kind of cool sequence. You had Kevin trying to do the pop-up powerbomb and just couldn't do it. Like he's been through hell the last 3 days, so you just can't do it. But then just kind of stun her out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3. It was really good.
Jimmy tried to get involved.
Yeah. Well, and
All
of them tried to get in.
Except for Sammy.
Yes.
He kind of stood back like, what's happening?
Yeah. Well, and he kept having these moments where it looked like he was thinking about doing something and then just never did. And the only time
how that strikes me as how they're going to do this.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. The only time I saw him look like he was probably going to do something, Solo pushed him aside. And then that's when Solo jumped up. So
right. And I wonder if things like that are going to be what causes the Sammy turning on them.
Yeah. Could be. It's going to be a great story wherever it goes.
Yeah, very much so.
It's been an amazing ride already, and I cannot imagine where we're going from here.
I'm just happy the long-term storytelling is back.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have so much talent on this roster. And short of an injury, there's no reason to not be doing longer stories.
Yeah. Well, and especially if we're cutting out filler pay-per-views. Like, if we're going to start doing a pay-per-view every couple of months instead of every month,
you're going to have to do longer stories.
Yeah, we got to do some long stage stories. And I think they're up for it. And I think that's where we're definitely headed, because we're already seeing it as NXT people get called up. We're seeing it as people come back. Or even just referencing the people that are there, like as not impressed with the feud as you and I have been with Judgment Day and OC. That's all it's been about, is AJ and Finn and their past. Like we finally paid off the feud that we had, a year ago, 2 years ago, that never got paid off.
Yeah,
like it just kind of went away.
The fact that we're talking about other companies, like we've talked about, the fact that they're talking about other companies is huge.
Absolutely.
Even something as small as tonight, Booker mentioned. Okay, so she'll never hear this, but shout out to my mom's. It's her birthday.
Happy birthday, Mama.
So, and Brian just was like, they let her still have those at her age. That's why I posted it, was things like that.
Yep.
But this no longer acting like where the world revolves around us. The world of wrestling / sports entertainment revolves around us.
Yeah.
I get it. You are the big boy. You're the OU to OSU. Everybody else is OSU. It is what it is.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I don't think Vince ever cared that there was other people. And I understand that mentality of I won, but that's even more reason of why you shouldn't care. Like, talk about AEW, it's fine. Talk about Impact, it's fine. Talk about New Japan, it's fine. You won. There's no reason for you not to say something.
When Cody came back, there was some comment about he went away for X amount of time and now he's back. Like he hasn't toured the world making himself what he is now.
Absolutely. Now, I do wonder if him coming back would have happened after.
Hunter have brought? Okay, you're saying had Vince left, would Hunter have brought him back?
Well, no. Let's say he still comes back, because I still think Hunter would have brought him back. It's a dumb move not to. You've got a guy that left the company as Stardust, made a name for himself, so much so that he was doing Wrestle Kingdom main events, and then started a wrestling company that doesn't rival Raw or SmackDown, but certainly rivals your third brand, which is still a lot to say.
Absolutely. For a 3-year-old company?
Yeah.
That survived the pandemic.
Absolutely. And then at the time, I have my thoughts about that little what I call almost WCW period. But at the time when it first started, on their own backs too. Like you had Jericho, yes, you had Hardy, yes, but you didn't really have any ex-WWE guys aside from those two. The rest of them were indie talent, ROH talent, Impact talent, New Japan talent. So they did it without any mainstream names.
I want to say that one of the first ones to come in was Brody, wasn't it?
I believe so. I believe because they had the thing with Hardy and the Dark Order, and then it was Cody in the Dark Order, wasn't it? And then Brody came in, but yeah. So I do think you're right. I think Brody was the first one that was the big name that came over.
No, it wasn't. It was Moxley.
Oh, that's right. Which
he was the second. He was the second big one.
Yeah,
because he showed up at like their first or second pay-per-view.
Yeah,
and got him some of Kenny Omega, which I was here for. It was great.
Yeah, but just to even that first month, then. So we're talking like the first pay-per-view is AEW branded. Like that first month, you built a company, you bought it, you got funding for it, you got a roster, you got a pay-per-view schedule, you got venues, all with just under promoted talent. I'll say it that way,
right?
Because it's not that they're not great; they're great talent. They didn't have a spot, which is what AEW is good for. It's good to have that second place for people to go. That's why I don't understand the hate. Like I do agree that there was a short period there where there's a really lot of WWE talent up at the top of the roster here.
Well, there was a lot at the top and there was a lot coming in.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's really hard when they are who they are and they had the roster they had.
Yeah.
Just because there's some of these guys like the Hardys, Christian, Big Show, that didn't get their name built like the Hardys. Yes, Christian kind of did, but then he went out and did it on his own and came back.
Yeah, it started a name for him, but he didn't become a main event talent until he went to TNA.
Until he went to TNA, which was, but I mean, Joe.
Yeah,
they call him he's not a WWE guy.
Yeah, and that's where I do think like a lot of the complaints of, well, these WWE guys are coming in. I understand that they're WWE now, and that's what's made them more mainstream.
Right.
But I knew who Joe was before he showed up in WWE.
I did too. Him, Christopher Daniels, and AJ.
Greatest triple threat of all time.
Look, if anybody's listening to this and they have never seen AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels versus Samoa Joe in TNA with that 6-sided ring, do yourself a favor.
Ultimate X match.
Watch that.
Yeah.
That shit is so good.
Hell, I mean, even just go watch Joe in general back in that day. Because, like, shout out to Phoenix. She posted a nice little thing on our Facebook.
I saw that. Which, Joe walk away. Nope.
Joe's moments of nope are always great.
But that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, he did, and that thing is so. As much they won't do it to certain people. Like he's not going to do that to Wardlow.
Right.
He's not going to do it. But I need to see Joe do that to a few people some more times because that shit is amazing.
Well, and it's I always akin it to we lost you. You still with us?
Yeah, my camera.
Okay.
I'm not plugged in, so I had moved the mouse so the screen stopped.
Gotcha. The thing that I really like about it is that Joe is a wrestler that when I watch him, it makes me think he's being meta with it. Because there are times we look at wrestling and we go, how is that practical? Like you're chasing a guy, he runs up the turnbuckle and then backflips onto you. How is that practical? Why would you walk into that? And he just goes, nope. Like he does that. It's like, that makes sense. His wrestling makes sense to me.
Right. No, that's 100% it. That whole thing of walking away from people and just there's a bunch of stuff that Joe has done over the years that is just so good.
Yeah. I think about that promo where he comes in and it's like Ali and AJ and Seth in the ring and he just Like, he tears everybody down.
Well, he walks in, he's like, I'm not even wasting my time with you, I think is what he said to Ali.
It's something like that, yeah. It's like
Something to that effect, and I was like, oh, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's really good. Before we move on to speed through NXT, you had said you have a thought of how Roman's going to lose the title. So let's go ahead and speculate on that for a second.
So, where are we on the percentage of him and Dwayne going?
I mean, I would think we're above 50.
Are we?
Just because.
Okay, so if that's the case, that's obviously going to be main event whatever night it is.
Mm-hmm.
The question is it going to be night 1 or night 2? If you want to take the titles off of Roman, night 1, he drops the title to somebody through shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
One of the titles, not both. Somebody says, I want to wear a Rumble. I don't want them both. I just want, like, if Cody comes back and wins the Rumble, Cody says, I don't care about the Universal title. That's not the one that matters. The one that matters to me is the WWE title, and that's the title I want to challenge.
Yeah. Well, and even if they don't do that, it's easy to say, look, you got to pick one. It's not for a main event for both titles. It's a main event for a title.
However they want to do it.
Yeah.
However they want to do it. But then he loses that through whatever shenanigans. However it happens. Him doing a straight job to Cody is not going to hurt him any.
No.
Cody's going to come back and be probably more over than he was when he returned at the last WrestleMania.
Easily.
And so say the second title is KO. And he loses that one. Then you have that match open night 2. So in the last match the night before and the first match tonight, he's dropped both belts.
Okay.
Main event is him and Rock. At this point, he has something to prove.
Okay.
So him just going ballistic on Rock and winning that match in just a beatdown. I'm not saying Rock's not going to get a shot in. There's no way they're going to bury him.
No.
But him losing isn't going to hurt him any.
No.
Like the people are going to be like, oh, we don't want him in our movie. He lost to Roman at WrestleMania.
Right.
But that's how you justify him going over handily.
So I like that. I want to add one thing to it. And that's just that people have already turned on this. People love the Bloodline. That's a perfect way to turn it to, is he's lost both titles. He's down on his luck. I got something to prove. And he goes in there and gives the best damn match of his life.
And if you've had Jimmy and Jay lose, at this point, Jay says, why should we follow you? You don't even have a title anymore. And we get Jay and Roman, which I know they had a couple matches. This is different.
Yeah.
This would be vastly different. And honestly, I wouldn't hate seeing Jay take one of those titles.
I wouldn't either. And we kind of talked about that a little earlier. I thought that's
an Edge or any of a number of wrestlers or, someone we're not going to mention. Hold this.
Yep.
But I feel like it's kind of one of those things. I feel the same way if Dax were to win the ROH title or the AEW title. He's earned it.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a downside. And if they've broken up the bloodline or there's cracks in the foundation, I'd even go so far as to have it as a Adam Pearce talking to somebody off screen you can't see and him saying, are you sure you want to do this? And that person, doesn't say anything, but then Adam Pearce announces Roman has a match for his title against an opponent to be named. Mm-hmm. Or a mystery opponent or something. Roman comes out and makes some comment about I can beat anybody. It doesn't matter who it is or so on. And it's Jay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not going to hurt Roman to do the job to Jay.
No, and like I said earlier, like I thought that's where we're going to begin with, and I'm pretty sure that's what everybody thought. I don't think I'm some Nostradamus genius by saying yeah, but like Jay is on a different level. So like you bring up Dax, and I think that's a great parallel because I like Cash, but it's obvious the main eventer out of that group is Dax.
And I'm in no way taking anything away from Cash. And he said, I don't really want to do a singles run.
Yeah.
He's like, so I don't have a problem with Dax doing these.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why you see what you see. It's like, I mean, to harken all the way back to the Rockers, and you know, the who's the Marty Jannetty of the team. It was obvious that Marty didn't have his heart set in singles because they tried to put him in singles, and he never looked like he was enjoying himself.
But it was also obvious that he didn't have it to do a singles run.
Yeah.
And I'm not in any way taking away from Marty Jannetty's talent. The dude was a talented guy.
Absolutely. Little creepy, but talented.
I mean, it takes a big man to go through a barbershop glass window. But, you know.
It takes an even bigger man to go through a wall with a Stormtrooper helmet, but that's neither here nor there.
The worst. That was the worst. I don't care whatever happens the rest of eternity. That was the single worst thing ever in wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was so bad. And to hear Dusty tell that story is even funnier.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that, like our friendship, I'm obviously the Shawn Michaels of the group. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
It was too easy. I couldn't not. I kid.
I mean, if we had two more people, I'd say you're the Sid of our four horsemen. But
I haven't stabbed anybody with scissors.
Hey, speaking of which, 25th year anniversary of Arn's last matches today.
Really?
Yeah. So
25 years ago.
Yeah, of one of the most, as far as I'm concerned, underrated wrestlers.
Easily.
Because he was amazing.
Had he been with anybody but Ric Flair, Arn would have been a superstar. Like a mega name in the business.
Yeah. But and then he got pigeon-toed into being a tag team guy, and so then they put him with like Zbyszko when he came to the WWE, and like if they just one singles run, and he showed that later in WCW when he won with the television title for so long. Like that TV title, when I see it's his.
Yeah, that TV title was Arn's, but no, that's one of those things that, and that happens. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at. Kind of like we're talking about with Riddle. Are we saying this guy can't do it on his own? Are we saying we have no confidence in him as a singles wrestler?
Yeah.
Is that where we are with Riddle in this short time?
Yeah. And it's sad because
he needs to just pack it up and go home.
Yeah. But I think they're wrong about it. My hope with Riddle and some that are like him, because there's some other people on the roster that are like in that weird position of like, do we really not have something better for these guys? Is we're kind of hitting that point again of we have a lot of talent and like we're gonna have to rotate this out a little bit. And so right now you get the crap. Eventually you'll come back in and do something big, but like right now this is your role.
Okay, so here's the question though.
Mm-hmm.
If we actually decide to give Riddle a singles run, what are you sending him after? I don't buy him beating Gunther. I'm sorry. He toe-to-toe with Walter, he gets his ass handed to him.
Absolutely.
In the ring with Seth makes him look stupid. And what, Roman?
So Seth makes him look stupid. However, I think Seth could also make him look amazing.
I'm sure that he can, but is anybody buying that Riddle is as a champ? I know he had it for a minute. You have a tail. Um, that cat is not leaving you alone. It's not happening.
No.
Um.
Anyway, all right. So, yeah, I agree with that. Like,
I just, if you're not going to do something with him, send Riddle back to NXT.
well, I think with him specifically, like it's not the same type of thing, but to me, it's the same type of situation.
Right.
He's the Big Show.
Yeah.
Because we had him be serious and he was kicking people's asses, and then we had him be funny, and then we had him be serious again, and then we had him be funny again. And then Randy leaves and he's trying to be like Randy 2.0, which I was kind of fine with. Because eventually, like, Randy's hitting the end of that. And so if he passes on the RKO to Riddle and Riddle kind of takes pieces of that persona, I'm okay with it. But then we completely forget. Like,
right.
like now, okay, well, never mind. Now have him go pick a random tag partner. What? Okay, well,
It's kind of like you said. Is he just latching on to everybody as they come back? I get bringing certain people back and slowly working them in. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm fine with not just tossing them in there, first match back into a 20-minute, 30-minute match.
Right.
You can stick your head in here. His kids have shown up. You sure? Yeah. Will you grab the charger for this for me? Grace is home.
Hi, Grace.
Michael said hi. So, I just, what are we doing with him? Like,
yeah.
What are we doing?
Lord knows at this point.
So it's just one of those things that if we're going to do something with him, let's do it. If we're not, then let's do something else, because Elias doesn't need Riddle at all. In terms of getting over or being a draw, being worth watching, whatever you want to call it, he doesn't need him.
Yeah.
So why are we doing this?
Well, and neither one of them really need each other. Like, I don't understand how we went from a guy who I think he was going to beat Roman? No, but he was on par to have a small little thing with Roman. And now we're back to, oh, hey, Elias, come hit my bomb.
Right.
Like, well, you were just fighting for the world title like a few months ago.
The fact that they're doing this whole thing with his shirt and the bongos and all that, Rob Van Dam is pissed.
Yep.
And if he can still go, give me one match.
Yep. He's even mentioned coming back and being a manager for him.
Really?
Like, he'd love to come in and just be the guy that talks for him. And I'd be okay with it.
Is he going to call himself Riddle's dealer? Like,
yeah. Yeah, like, I don't know. I want better for him, and hopefully, like I said, hopefully it's just on the back burner. Hopefully that's all it is.
And I hope, if that's the case, cool. But at the same time, if you're not going to do anything with him, send him home for a little bit.
Yeah.
Roman rest. I appreciate the fact that we're not seeing all of these. They're kind of rotating guys through.
Mm-hmm.
We're not seeing you're wrestling 300 days a year anymore.
Right.
I've learned you can't do that, because you're going to end up with people that are like Randy. What should have been a small injury may end his career.
Yeah. And that's definitely a great thing. And I hope that's something that is on the forefront. I hope that what we're seeing right now is not by accident. And it's literally like they're looking at this as seasons of, okay, we're going to have this crew for the next 6 months. And then the 6 months after that, we're going to lighten up on that crew, and these guys are going to come in and be the main guys. Aside from whoever has titles, obviously. Like, whoever is the
but
pillars.
Even that, other than the bloodline, you can rotate that through too.
Right.
Because I understand why they've done this, but this Roman's had the title for a year and some change, 400 and some odd days. Do something else.
Yeah.
I get it, but do something else. I don't care if it's some shenanigans, how you do it. Get the titles off. I mean,
yeah,
at least one of them.
Well, and it sounds like you're already there. However, I will say, do that before I get tired of it, because I'm still okay with him right now.
I am.
But I could see
we're
like
getting real close. It's not bad, and his mic work has been amazing.
Best work of his life.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. And I mean, it's been 10 years since the Shield debuted.
Mm-hmm.
So to see where he's come in 10 years, cool. But it's time to do something else.
Yeah. Well, and especially from where the Shield started, because, I mean, you had whatever they thought backstage is one thing. However, the fans, like, we all thought, like, all right, you've got Mox, he's going to be the main guy. He's going to be the talker. He's going to lead this thing. He's going to lead the charge. You got Seth, which is the athlete, and then you have just Roman in the back, and Roman's the muscle, and that's what he's going to be. And now to see that he is running the game right now, and like, don't get me wrong, I love Mox. I'm getting a little tired of him at the top of the food chain. But I think that's more because that the top of that food chain over there has been so muddled because of everything that's happened.
Right. The fallout and injuries, and Kenny had the title for how long?
Yeah.
I mean, I get long reigns. I get holding the title for extended periods. I feel like at some point, though, I stopped caring.
Yeah. Well, and Kenny had that good thing going with the whole belt collector thing. And then that just kind of fell to the wayside. And I get it, he got injured, and that's probably why it
he got injured, so he started dropping belts.
Yeah.
And then I would have liked to have seen them make it a little more like when he lost the first belt to whoever it was. Make a big deal about that.
Yeah.
And then when he loses the next one, what's going on with Kenny Omega? And then when because he had what 4 or 5 belts at one point.
Yeah.
Like Matt Cardona.
And I could see where you're going with that, and then just like in the back,
he's just see him unraveling,
right?
And when he finally loses that AEW title, he's like, "I'm going home."
Yeah.
Perfect way to write him off so he can go heel because he needed that. He looks like he's in the best shape of his career right now.
Well, and I would say even flat out say that it was because of the injury. Like, have him backstage like, I'm fine. And then he loses that last one and he goes, damn it, I thought I could do it.
Right.
And then, have him be back there with the Bucks and say, like, I've been running with this injury and I'm getting numb in one side, and have him bring that reality onto the screen. And they're the ones that say, go home.
Right. No, it would. I personally feel like it would have made it so much better.
Yeah. Well, and then like that makes when he comes back, like he's the biggest babyface in the world when he comes back at that point.
Right.
Because he beat himself into the ground because he wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
And he got made to go home. The other EVPs said, you're going home.
You've got to stop. You've got to take this time to get better.
Yeah.
So.
But.
I didn't watch all of NXT. I caught a little bit of the Grayson Waller, which that kid has got main roster written all over.
Yeah. There's a lot of good kids in NXT right now. I mean, we could just run through them. It's not a lot of detail. That the main thought of the night was finding out who's going to be in this new match and tournament that's coming up. Which interesting concept. I'll wait to see. I don't
understand how it all works, so I can't comment on that.
It is a little convoluted. It reminds me of King of the Mountain. Like, it's
okay.
Well, I don't mean in like literal terms. I mean just as far as like, I don't know if you ever saw a King of the Mountain match in TNA.
Yeah,
like
I remember it.
It very convoluted sounding. I want to see it on television. Let me see it work. Because if you think about it, even War Games sounds convoluted if you say it. You got
Right.
5 people on each team, and they all come in one at a time, and then the match doesn't actually start until everybody's in the ring. What?
Right.
But you see it on TV, and it's like, oh, okay, this is really cool.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to put them in a shark cage, and we're going to alternate back and forth who goes, and it's every certain number of minutes. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
It very much people go, wait, what?
Yep. It almost sounds like Royal Rumble-esque, but with pinfalls, I guess, maybe. So it's like the 5 people, and they come in at certain intervals, and
right.
It ends up becoming a 5-on-5 if everybody's still in there.
A five-way dance.
Yeah, okay. 5-way dance more. If everybody's still in there. So show opened with Indy Hartwell versus Roxanne Perez. Later on, they talk about Indy when they're talking about who's going to be in this match, and I wonder if what they said and this go hand in hand, because Indy losing to Roxanne Perez, I don't quite get. But if
they're really high on Roxy, like,
they are,
really
but
high on her.
If they're saying, well, we don't see that Indy wants it, she needs to see like she wants it, and then she lost here, and then they say that, I wonder if all that's tied into
possibly,
next week during the tournament, the last chance, whatever it is,
triple threat,
that she just tears it up.
Which it's her. Who else is in the triple threat? And then the 3 that are in the triple threat are Wendy Chu, Fallon Henley, and Indy Hartwell. Just from what I've seen of Fallon Henley and Wendy Chu, there's no way either one of them are winning that match.
No, that sounds like it's Indy's to win. So that
I saw a little bit of Fallon Henley. Yeah. What is her name? Fallon Henley. I saw a little bit of her tonight.
I like Fallon Henley better. That's
well, whatever. But
that's what she'll be called when she gets called up.
Right. Change her name to anyway. I'm not gonna. I've had one bad joke tonight that's gonna be edited out. I'm good.
Let's go. I
saw her and Tiana James, and she wasn't bad, but I don't care.
Yeah.
And the triple threat is Von Wagner, Axiom, and Andre Chase. If anybody thinks
it's Wagner,
yeah,
Axiom
might be the surprise, but it's Wagner.
Yeah,
they're already. This dude is he's huge, and there's no chance he's not getting main roster ready.
Yeah, and I think the best thing they did for him was give him a manager. Because I hated him on
Robbie
the mic.
E, what happened to Robbie E? Like, what are we doing here?
He became a talent scout. But like he's decent in the ring, and he's massive, and like chip off old block of how he moves in the ring. But yeah, I didn't like him on the mic at all. And so I think putting him with a manager has made him leap some bounds better than what he was when he started.
All right, do your rundown, because that was.
So Roxy reverses into an inside cradle when Hartwell tries to deadlift her, and then
she went with an inside cradle.
No. That was just she got a 2 out of that. Indy hit the big boot. And then lying in wait, and Perez kicks her in the teeth. She tried to do a rolling soul butt, and then she tried to hop over, but Roxanne Perez wins with her Pop Rocks finisher. We get Dante Chen versus Donovan Dijak. I'm really glad Dijak's back to being Dijak. I'm a little weirded out by the black dye job he's got going on. It's like Alex Wright when he turned bad.
Why is that?
I'm just saying.
Why is Das Wonderkid where you went? Like, why?
Because that's immediately what I thought. When he came back as Blitzkrieg, and he had the pale white skin and the just
I remember
dark black goatee.
So bad.
I'm like, wow, you just used all the black dye, didn't you?
So we went to Donovan Dijak instead of Dominic Dijakovic?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Was that his name on the Indies?
I want to say Dijak was, yes. I don't know about Donovan Dijak, but I want to say Dijak was what it was, because then everybody was curious of, like, Dijakovic, why are we doing that?
No, his real name is Christopher Dijak.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he won with Feast Your Eyes. Post match, he gets on the mic and talks about how that was an example of hard justice.
Right. Caught
It's
that.
his justice. JD McDonough rolls up into the Diamond Mine dojo and offers his help against Indus Shear.
Yeah.
But the Creed brothers say that they're going to have a fair fight. JD rambles about bone density. We go back to the back. We see Shawn Michaels with his panel, Road Dogg, X-Pac, Molly Holly, and Alundra Blaze. Which, by the way, Molly and Alundra look amazing.
Yes. I'm just curious why anyone thinks that Road Dogg or X-Pac have any business evaluating talent.
So Road Dogg I get, because I think everybody that's in the know knows he's writing the show on SmackDown. So
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I can see that. I don't know why X-Pac came in. That confuses
Just to
me.
make the inappropriate jokes and to throw in a random opinion.
Yeah, like when they were joking about 120 hours ago, he did stuff that was worse than what
2100 yesterday. You don't know what was good.
Like what?
And Alundra and Molly are sitting over there like, I hate you both.
So Shawn Michaels wants to look at who on the roster has the best year overall, and not just win-loss record. Molly talks about how young most of the roster is. Road Dogg talks about his first pitch, which is Carmelo Hayes, which I don't think anybody would have any issue with.
No, he's had a great year.
He's first ballot call-up as far as I'm concerned. Everybody talks about...
Monday after WrestleMania is going to be real interesting this year.
Absolutely. So everybody talks about what a star he is, and Shawn admits that he'd be hard-pressed to leave him out of that match.
Right.
Alundra talks about Tony D'Angelo, but Shawn says he's probably still a couple weeks away from being cleared. Joe Gacy comes up on the radar, and Jesse pitches Von Wagner, but Pac doesn't think he should be in. Both of them agree Axiom deserves a shot, but he's probably not going to be cleared in time either, which we found out later today. That's not true.
Right.
Wagner hasn't won a signature match or made a connection with the crowd, so they move on to Grayson Waller, putting over his bona fides as a heel. Michael suggests they write 5 men down and move on to the women later. And then Grayson Waller makes his entrance.
I saw the women's part. I didn't see the men's part. So
yeah. So Grayson Waller makes his entrance. I will say, to me, I think Gacy's a star too. I originally thought that this weird,
schism or whatever they're called.
Yeah, 4 branches, 1 tree. I thought this was gonna be dumb, but I've liked it so far. It's an interesting thing.
He definitely, if they build him right, his first feud should be Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
If they do it right.
I could see that.
So, no, Grayson Waller, just what I've seen of Grayson Waller, he's a 5-tool player. He's got it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got the athleticism, the look. He can run his mouth. He sells well. He's got it all.
Now that they, I like that Schism is less spooky than they were and more just cult. Because when he was doing the spooky stuff, when he was going for the NXT title, I wasn't in for it. I'm at the point now where, all right, stop giving me rip-off Undertakers. I don't care. Let him just be a wrestler.
We don't need another Jim Jones, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So then we lead that into Duke Hudson versus Grayson Waller. Hudson hot out the gates with a side headlock, working it in by kneeling on alternate legs. So good little work there.
Okay. Was there anything of note in this match?
I mean, not really.
I caught the end of this match, and I caught something that I think is going to set something interesting up.
Okay, go ahead.
So I caught where he almost kicked whoever the girl was at ringside in the face. And he said to her, I can stop at any time, I'm guessing last week he kicked Andre in the face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I didn't see last week, so I don't know. But
yeah, that was
Andre,
earlier in the backstage segment.
Oh, okay.
They talked about how he got kicked in the face.
Okay. So he says to her, I can stop it at any point. And Andre goes, wait a minute. You can stop it at any point? Well, then he has to get back in the ring and finish the match. And after the match is over, he takes the L. And Andre's still looking at him like, bro, what?
Yeah, he's out there mad about it.
And then Waller, when he got out, said, I'm trying to tell you, keep your eye out. Something he says something to him about the kick in the face, basically. And I'm like, that's good foreshadowing. I like it.
Yeah. And Grayson wins that one by pinfall. Javier Bernal is interviewed backstage.
That shit was a train wreck. And that girl interviewing him hates him.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but she does.
Yeah. Well, you know.
When you bring out a cologne that you call Bodio by whatever and shorten it to B, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done with you, bro.
Which apparently it stinks like rotten eggs. So.
Yes.
It is what it is. Fallon Henley versus Kiana James. James runs around the ringside and grabs her bag to hide behind. She throws it at Henley and gets a cheap shot in before posting her in the corner and charges her in. Yeah, wins by a jumping reverse STO, apparently called the 401k.
Yes, because her gimmick is like she's a businesswoman.
Yeah, she's the female IRS. Gotcha.
I don't know that she's destined to be terrible like that, but
backstage we have Odyssey Jones and Idris. I'm not even gonna try to say his last name. Inofe. Are trying to give Malik a pep talk about the sweater vest that Von Wagner destroyed.
It was his dad
his dad's. Like... Weird thing. Go Sean, I guess.
The storyline is stupid, but the point is there.
Yeah, like I get it, but
it's still dumb.
Yeah, he tore up a sweater vest. Gotcha. That's what the big key over this match.
The E Street Posse out to help him? Like what?
Yes, bring me Joey Abs.
No one needs that.
We're back to talk about the women's Iron Survivor match. Alundra Blaze steps up for Roxanne Perez, given her development lately. Road Dogg brings up Zoe Stark as an impressive athlete. Molly Holly says she thinks the internet likes Indy Hardwell, but they all agree that she's missing an element of self-confidence. Like I said, I think that's a good tie-in for earlier in the night. So maybe that's what we're going to see.
With it. I definitely think Indy is missing something.
To me, so I really enjoyed when the Way was together, and they were doing that whole thing. And I think her having
really well with Candace.
Yeah, I think having them around her helped that because she seemed so confident in herself back then. Ever since all of them have moved away, she seems very unsure.
And I wonder if Candace's issues with Damage Control is how you bring Indy up.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, I'll get a partner. And that's how Indy debuts.
I could see that. And then they go for those titles.
And I wouldn't hate it. I think Candace can be she can be both that mouthpiece for Indy. Because I don't know. The little bit that I've seen Indy talk, I'm not. She reminds me of a young Peyton Royce.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's very timid.
Better when she's playing off somebody else.
Right. When you put Peyton Royce and Billie Kay together,
amazing.
They were world beaters.
Yeah.
The Iconics were amazing. Love them.
I hope we see them come back.
I would be so happy. I think she's pregnant.
Yeah. Or I think they just had the baby.
If they haven't had the baby,
I think they had the baby now.
That baby, that baby is going to be a perfect 10.
Yep. um, Xbox says Cora Jade wants that top spot more than anybody, but Jesse would rather have Fallon Henley in the match. Xbox says he goes Kiana James over Henley after her victory tonight. Molly Holly brings up Alba Fire as the best worker on the roster. Sean thanks everybody and has them write down their 5 women. We get a babyface entrance for a trios match. Nikita's legs get taken out from under her. I love that we got a ice skating reference from Booker. That was nice.
So good. He's terrible, but he's so good.
Yeah. So Toxic Attraction laughs about it. So of course we're gonna have that match later, or so we think we're gonna have it later. Elektra Lopez is interviewed backstage, says Indy Hartwell is the heart of the division, and she takes it to heart. Axiom versus Javier Bernal.
Didn't care.
I mean, Axiom's really good. It was just a good reason for him to come back, to me, is all it is. So he came back. He wins by pinfall with the golden ratio. Backstage, Nikita Lyons.
Sorry, the what?
The golden ratio. Nikita Lyons is in the trainer's office. She gets cleared. She says she's ready to go. Then we get an Apollo Crews vignette where he's apparently the mentalist or the time traveler or something.
I caught this and I didn't hate it.
So it's not the first time he did it. Back when he first came in, they did that same gimmick. And they have kind of laid off of it since, but it's like he can see the future.
His finisher's a jumping shining wizard.
Mm-hmm.
We're so uncreative. No, I saw the little back and forth with him and Braun in like a restaurant.
Yeah.
Kind of looked like a Jack Reacher, the opening of the Jack Reacher, the series.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it looked like. It was interesting. I kind of liked seeing Braun just sitting there saying, I appreciate these things about you, but sorry, bro, you ain't winning this.
Yeah.
Like it was just a good.
It was a good little back and forth between them. I will say, like, I love Breaker, and I think at the end of this he's going to be an amazing talent. You and I have talked about him before, and I've said I think it's amazing because he's the in-ring of Rick, and he's the personality of Scott, and that makes a perfect main event wrestler.
Yes. It's why they were so good as a tag team.
Right. I will say though, I did giggle a little bit when he was like, yeah, you've been the perfect match of speed and agility, and I am too.
Right.
I don't know about that. Like, you're great, but to say you could do the things that Apollo Crews does, I don't know about that, man.
It reminds me of that Ricochet Velveteen Dream thing.
Yeah.
I can do anything you can. And he does that flip out of the ring and he stands there and looks at him.
Yep.
I was like,
best thing that Velveteen ever did.
Nope.
Nope. Moving on.
Nope.
JD McDonough versus Julius Creed. A good match. It ended up in a disqualification. It was a really weird disqualification.
I thought so too. He
Even
hit somebody not involved in the match with a chair, and that's what you call a DQ for?
Well, no, that he did. Like, I think the DQ was him pushing Creed out of the way, and I'm like, so you're saying he attacked Creed, and so Creed wins the match?
I thought it was a DQ because McDonough hit that guy with a chair, and I'm like,
no,
what?
Yeah, it was odd.
It was weird.
So the one thing I do want to say about this, I do love the leg pick and the leg submission that JD's using.
Okay.
Because so he does almost like an STF type of move, and he gets the leg bent. Like, this is why Axiom was out for a while. And I don't know if you saw that clip of Booker, but Booker like, I heard it snap. talking about the leg. Like, he gets the leg like so far when he's doing it, and it looks like he's about to snap the dude's leg, and it's really impressive looking. So anyway, yeah, Julius wins by disqualification. The two big men look at him and basically say, "We want you at 100%."
Yeah, they finally realized that he wasn't getting over on the main roster, so they're going back up and start over again.
That's right. Veer was not coming. But they jaw jack him a little bit though, and like, "We want you at 100%. That's why we were here to save you."
Right.
Which I kind of like. So that means that they're
I was like, okay, it's different. I'm here for it.
They're stand up guys that'll just beat the hell out of you, and I'm kind of good with that. We get an Isla Dawn vignette, which was nice. Malik Blade versus Von Wagner. Von Wagner just being a beast. So Von Wagner picks up a win with the Fireman's Carry neckbreaker. Post-match, Wagner goes to keep attacking Blade.
This is the part that I caught was into this, and that big man came in. That's a big dude.
Odyssey Jones,
but that's a big boy.
So Odyssey Jones, he came in for a little while and then got injured, almost immediately coming in. But yeah, big dude, and he can move.
Yeah.
So I think him and Wagner could put on some good matches if that's where we're going to go with this.
Kind of a Keith Lee Dijakovic thing.
Yeah, big dude that can move. Yeah. So Shawn Michaels announces our Iron Survivor entrance, which you already said. Yeah, we've already covered. And then Toxic Attraction makes their entrance, and I love that entrance.
Mandy, God's greatest creation.
Yeah. I'm more of a Gigi fan. She's got a very interesting look, and I'm here for it.
Which one's Gigi?
Gigi's the redhead.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I know, on brand for me. So good match. What ends up happening though is Nikita gets tagged in, and she's still got the injured knee. So they pick on that.
That at the end was terrible.
Yeah.
That was so bad.
But so Toxic Attraction wins by pinfall with a total elimination from Gigi and JC. Zoe Stark's up in the Vince McMahon jump off platform that's up there. Just running her mouth. Just looking at her, she's gonna be such a star when that happens. She's one of those, like, the first time I saw her, she wasn't even that big on the show yet, but I knew she's got a look about her that, as if she had the personality to follow, which she did end up having the personality to follow, there's no holding that girl back.
No, I agree. I definitely think she's gonna make some waves.
Yep. And like, I don't know, she jacked for such a small person that, you can throw strength with her, you can throw just being vicious. Like, there's so many things you could do with that type of body type, and it will be believable.
Yeah, she kind of actually, ironically that she was on the show tonight, she kind of reminds me of Medusa when she was younger.
Yeah, like shorter, but definitely just stacked. Yeah. Recording. So that's it for the third episode of Kicking Out at 2. We hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, if you're watching us, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Hit the bell. Hit us at our socials down there below. If you notice, it looks a little different now. Decided to pretty it up, as my daughter asked me to.
Did she really one of the girls?
Yeah, it was one of the girls. It was really plain, and they're like, it's just really like black and white. And, yeah, I know. So decided to play around a little bit, make it a little prettier. So
that middle picture's John Cena, isn't it? We just can't see him.
Great job ending on the joke.
Thank you.
Anyway, catch us on the next episode. We'll record this weekend to talk about the AEW fun that happens this weekend and Friday Night SmackDown. So come back and have some fun with us. Bye.